This week, we try avoid all the carnage in Race A. Just how dangerous is the mountain in Race B? And in Race C, does this Nissan GTR punt me or make it? Hello everyone and welcome back to the Gran Turismo weekly race guide here in 2022. It's week 42 and in the background you can see GTRs going ham at each other. Now why are they going ham? Well, let's have a look at the race details then. We're racing 10 laps here at Tsukuba if you hadn't guessed already. It's a good start with the false start check, sports soft tyres, times 1 fuel and tyre wear, but critically, tuning is on, 493 brake horsepower, 1500 kilograms, and 4-wheel drive is your criteria. Then you can pick and choose what you like. Now, I chose GTR because a setup was put on the Discord, and I'm using that setup. It's from Vicious Venom, thank you so much. But before we jump to the race, there are some timestamps in the background if you want to skip the setups, because I know a lot of people don't like tuning, and you can go to race B or C. But without further ado then, let's jump into the race then. Let's have a look exactly what happens, because it's a bit scary right at the start. Here we are then at the start. So we've got some safety cars in here. We've got an Aston Martin there, Inferno Fox. Shout out to you, part of TCR. We've got a few GTRs. And I'm in the R34 GTR, as I said. So traction control on 1. Hold the handbrake. And off we go then. So we get a really good start. Probably to do a little bit with the setup as well. Overtaking a lot of people then. Heading towards turn 1. Trying to get that radar in or on as quick as possible. I love that Focus RS on my left-hand side, by the way. It's a lovely looking Focus RS. So leave that corner. We're behind the safety car with the lights on, which I think is actually kind of awesome, to be honest. It adds a little bit of a different element to the race, you know, a bit of interest as we go into this left-hander. Now, there's an Audi R8 on the right-hand side there. Well, let's keep an eye out for that Audi R8 because they absolutely send it, get it all sorts of wrong, and go straight into that Aston Martin of Inferno Fox. Inferno Fox nowhere to go. All gets very clumsy. I sort of see it and react to back off, allow it to happen, and then take full advantage of the situation. On the inside now of the Audi R8, it just came a bit tight. Just pushed me a bit too tight there, which is why there was contact. And we continue on. So we're in P3 after all of that. P3, happy days. And we're lap 4. And we've been chasing down this Nissan GTR for quite some time. We really have. As we leave that corner, we're finally side by side with that R35 car as we head up to the last corner at Tsukuba. So I'm like, ooh, what can we do here? Now, with setups, obviously, there's varying strengths and weaknesses on each of the given cars. So you've got to be very careful going into corners. Some may handle better. Some may have better straight lines. Some may have better braking. It's all out there, to be honest with you. As we come into this right-hander, then we both go a little bit deep here. And I'm trying to get round a little bit of oversteer there. One thing I will note is don't use second gear if you're going to use this setup, which I'll show at the very end. As we come into this left-hander then, and that Nissan GTR just staying ahead. Oh, we're both in GTRs. Why do I keep saying that? Anyway, we're going to continue through the right-hander. P1's gone, by the way. That's the police car. They've absolutely belted it, which is fair enough. We're not speeding here. We're keeping to the rules of the track as we head down in towards the hairpin again then, looking for the run out the corner. Trying to get it just sort of slide around a bit and accelerate away. And now here we go. R35 versus R34, which is quicker at the moment as we head down the straight. It looks like the R34 just as we head in towards the right-hander then. I'm braking early. They brake a bit later. Trying to get on the inside. Beautiful racing with MC Kerr here. This is brilliant stuff. I thoroughly enjoyed this battle. It is superb. In fact, throughout the races today, you've got some fantastic battles. But unfortunately, MC Kerr goes a bit too deep. I get a bit of oversteer and I keep that position there. I just get ahead of the R35 GTR. What a brilliant race that was. Huge shout out to you, MC Kerr. That was brilliant racing, brilliant fun. Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. Probably my driver of the week, to be honest with you. Right, lap guide time. Turn 1. You got a piece of tarmac there well before we normally brake. At the end of that tarmac is when I was braking in this car. You are going to have to pick and choose your braking marker, as I say, because setups are allowed. So, you know, you could have a car that brakes very strongly and brake a bit later than that. Just the marker I was using with this setup. Right, heading towards turn number 2. As the curb sort of comes as far into the track as possible, that is your brake marker. That's so you can straight line all the way to the hairpin. So you're pointing it now all the way there. And we're going to brake. So I'm staying in 3rd gear now, you see. It's much more stable. Vicious Venom did say that with the setup, and I ignored it, and then I remembered it at the end. Now, I'm braking before this marker. You can see that here. That is actually my turning marker. I should be turning before the orange goes to white in terms of the barrier. And you can see that here. I'm just going to maintain the car through the corner. Happy days. I had to have the brake a little bit there. Now, a short shift to fourth as we go through the left-hander. Heading towards this braking zone. Again, very early. The start of the green tarmacy astroturfy bit there on the left-hand side. Literally, that is your brake marker here. Again, third gear. So with this setup, you're going to be short shifting, by the way. It's halfway up that bar, short shift, and you know, job's a good one, really. So we leave that corner. We're going to head towards the final corner then. Now, it's a marker we've used before. So on the right-hand side, you've got some billboards there. Literally, the start of those billboards that I've highlighted here, as that hits the edge of your screen, that's when you're going to start braking and just getting the car in. Try and keep the car balanced, so you're going to be coming off the brakes quite quickly. Allow the car to roll. You notice that I'm just trail braking a little bit here. Staying in fourth gear, accelerate through the corner. Don't go too wide on any other lap other than the final lap, because you will end up with dirt on your tyres. But again, a huge shout out to MC Kerr there. It was absolutely brilliant racing with you. It was superb. It really was. So a huge shout out to you. And also, comments, by the way. I love the look of that Focus RS. Well played with picking the Focus RS. Right, let's jump to the setup then. So in terms of the setup, you can see that here. You can see the suspension. So it's a fully customizable suspension. Torx Veteran, and you see the ballast and the power restrictor. You may have to pause this to keep up with it. We've got the turbocharger medium one. And you see the weight reduction. Only stage 2 on the weight reduction. Keep that in mind there on that right-hand side. Also, here is the gearing as well. So if, you know, you can adjust them accordingly. Downforce. Actually, raise the downforce. I did change the downforce to max downforce. That is the one difference I did make to this setup. It was maximum downforce, not the one shown, because Gran Turismo over-exaggerates downforce. So I did go max downforce there. That's it for race A then. Let's jump to race B. Welcome to Bathurst then for race B. And we are in Group 4 machinery, as you can tell by the TCR Subaru in the background. Now, we're going to jump straight into the race details, and then I'll tell you a little secret. So, we are racing 5 laps here at Bathurst. It's a rolling start. A terrible one. Of course it is. Racing medium tyres. Well played, PD Gran Turismo. Well played indeed. Tyres 1 fuel and tyre wear. And it is the Group 4. So, we are in Group 4 machinery. Now, I'm in the Subaru. However, we don't race the Subaru. Now, I forgot to save the replay, unfortunately. So, I quickly went out in the Subaru. The Subaru, I would argue, maybe a slightly better car than the car I used. Let's jump to the race then. Let's have a look exactly what car I did use. Here we are then at the start. So we're in the Alfa Romeo 155. Why did I pick the Alfa Romeo, you ask? Well, it was actually top of leaderboards when I joined in. However, when you watch this race, you may see different cars have their strengths. There was a lot of GTRs in here, which is expected. With it being such a high-speed track, the GTR is well up there. Believe it or not, the Atenza is also up there. Now, you just saw the absolutely awful rolling starts that is on this Bathurst race. My word, I really wish they'd sort out these rolling starts. You can have them so close as well. That's the frustrating factor of this. Up ahead, we've got Mario Sonic. As we come through this right and head towards the left, and we're right behind them here as we go down. Now, we saw Mario last week as well, and we had some beautiful racing. So coming through this left, oh, they both get it slightly wrong there. Both have to slow the car down, and oh, I think he thinks better of it there in towards that left. I would agree with that. A bit too tight to go for the move as we then head down the hill. And oh, the bit of contact there. We're going to go on the left-hand side. Well caught by Adrian as well. Well caught by both drivers as we take full advantage of that. Oh, it gets it wrong though, and we go for the move. We get a little bit of a bump draft from behind. P9 for us. Happy days indeed. Now, the Alfa was half a second behind me, and that gap was increasing until it got up to pace, and the Atenza was just absolutely flat. Look at the speed. Look at that speed, my word. So coming into the chase then, I give it a bit of a gap on the left-hand side. Not really a place to go too wide. However, we make it work. Happy days with that one. Yeah, that Atenza, we had over half a second gap to it, and it caught us up that quickly. The gap was increasing initially out that last corner. Forest Elbow, and it just belted it. Now we've got Iden up ahead, 1964. So I'm sort of looking to the left here, just look for my brake marker. I brake, and then I can't see their brake lights, and then everyone just slows up really early here. So it's sort of like a bit of a clumsy overtake. I wouldn't say it's dirty in any way. It's just that I was pulling back in, then I had to take avoiding action, and it is what it is, really, if I'm honest with you. Right, we've got the Atenza once again right behind me here as we head down the hill and up towards Hell Corner. I think it's Hell Corner. Anyway, in towards this right-hander. You don't really want to be on the outside for this corner. Very hard corner to even go around the outside on. We survived, though. Room left, and a brilliant race here with Iden as well. as we head up here. Mario defending or helping, I'm not too sure. As we come into here, there's just enough room on the right there for the Subaru. And it's all status quo. Brilliant racing there with Iden 1964. Right, we head up the mountain once again. Brilliant race so far. This, as we head... Oh, we've got a GTR going slow. That's Stevie there. And we're going to get on the inside. We're going to be a bit careful. We've got to lift off a little bit more to make sure they have room on that right-hand side. So we're right behind this Atenza. We're going to get bored of looking at this Atenza at this rate as we head over the mountain. Right, we're going to advance a bit further on down the mountain. Oh, a little bit of contact there between MG Flat. Oh, hello. Who are you? You're backwards. Best K Tech there. Literally backwards. Now, unfortunately, as I don't have the replay, I can't even look at the bloopers of that, unfortunately. So I'm going to bump draft here because I saw how powerful the Atenza was. I'm trying to race as smart as possible here, going through the field. I saw how fast the Atenza was, so even if I went for the move, the Atenza would just pull back at me, come back at me. We've got MG Flash in and Subaru, and you're seeing the speed of the Subaru as well, which is why I think the Subaru may be better than the Alpha here. Now, initially, I was looking, I was like, nah, it's not really going to work here. But we all make it work going through the chase, and I'm just on the outside, only just on the outside. Look how close this is. MG Flash, just give me enough room there. Beautiful driving from you, if I do say so myself. And down the inside we go to claim the cursed position of P6. Of course we do. But that is the end of lap 2. And once again, we're behind the Atenza, heading towards turn 1 then. And going into turn 1, they get it all sorts of wrong. And we go down the inside and try and accelerate away as quick as humanly possible. So P5 it is for us. And we have Nick up ahead. Now, Nick, you're also one of my drivers of the day. And you're about to see that here. This is beautiful driving from Nick, okay? Going through here then. Going to accelerate out of there. Now, this is a corner I wouldn't really go for a move on, but Nick goes defensive anyway. Doesn't really know me, potentially. Goes defensive. I lift off here. Allows to continue racing. The McLaren going a bit slow here. Once again, defensive driving. Beautiful defensive driving. And it gives me just enough room there on the right-hand side. Very hard to do. Once again, goes defensive for here. And I definitely won't go for the move here. But gives me room on the outside. It is such beautiful driving there from Nick. Like, huge shout out to you as well. We've had some awesome driving so far today in this video. It's beautiful. Well played, Nick. It really was brilliant. I enjoyed that one thoroughly. It was really good racing you. Right, time to get into a lap guide then as we look to catch up to Piggy. Heading towards turn 1 then. It's the first lamppost after the 100-meter board. I kept the 100-meter board on there so you could see. There is a photographer there in the race that you can use. However, he's not there in practice, so I'm not using them. And in we go. Now, you potentially could do it in third gear in the Alpha, that corner, to be honest, rather than second. But nice and easy on the exit. So we're just fast-forwarding here towards the right-hander. Now, I'm braking at the end of the tarmac piece on the left-hand side. The reason for that is because we're on the medium tyres and in Group 4. Now, you might want to brake just before the end if you want to get really tight. The tighter you are on this corner, the faster you can do it, okay? So it's better to brake a little bit earlier, take it tight, and really accelerate out the corner as you go up the hill, because obviously it's harder to go uphill. Now, I lift a bit coming into this first part, and then I'm looking to brake, a hard brake, as the track goes straight. You can see that there with the white line. It goes straight, and that's what I'm trying to do here. See, the Alpha gets a bit wiggly there. The Subaru does as well, so just be careful of oversteer going into there. Right, we're accelerating through here then. Head over towards the left-hand side. Now, you have that tree there. That tree is a very good turn-in tree, okay? So as that hits the edge of your screen, turn in. You can do this flat. You can do it in the Subaru. You can do it in the Alpha. It's all fine. Sometimes you may lift because you get scared. I lifted because I was scared there, but I could have easily done that flat, no problem. And then as you come down here, you do lift a little bit here. You clip the curb and then go towards the right-hand side. Now, as you get towards the curb here, lift off. The whole point here of lifting off is to keep the car balanced. If it's accelerating, the front nose is up. If you're not doing anything, the car is balanced, it won't lift the front nose up. We know how exaggerated weight transfer is, and we make it absolutely fine. Now, heading down the hill, okay, we've got the Audi R8 sign, and then I've also put another symbol there, just at the right-hand side of the light. You're aiming for there, the barrier, because you're going to understeer away from it, but the Audi R8 sign is your last of the late brakers. Now, I had to brake a bit more there, and you're always going to brake hard in a straight line, and then release the brakes a little bit. As you go into this left-hander here, the end of the curb on the right-hand side, you should already be turning in at this point, and you dabbed your brakes, chuck it in, happy days. Unfortunately, Piggy got a bit of stage fright there, as Piggy has said themselves, yeah, ended up meeting a barrier there. I hope your date was very nice. Right, so heading towards Forest Elbow then. On the right side, you got this black barrier into white barrier. This is where you're going to brake initially, okay? You're trying to keep it tight on the right-hand side. Why do you do that? So you can get a nice run on the left. So you straight line brake the left end and then accelerate through the corner. Now, I got the accelerating slightly wrong. I had to lift and then go again. Very bad to do that, but you don't want to hit the barrier. So it's better than hitting the barrier, but you want to be flat out all the way through the corner. Going through the right-hander, no problem at all. And then we have the sign event, or signivant, as I used to say. The V in that on the barrier on the right-hand side is your brake marker. It's just after the 150-meter board. Worked for every single car. Absolutely not a problem. And then third gear through here. Now, I cut a little bit more of the grass than I really needed to, as we then accelerate towards the last corner. And you all know this brake marker. You all know it. It's that tree on the right-hand side. As that hits the edge of your screen, that's when you're going to brake, second or third gear, depending on the car for this last corner. But literally, as it hits the edge of your screen, there we go. Hit the edge of my screen, drop to second gear, avoid hitting the curb on the left-hand side, and through we go. Now, we're going to advance towards the last lap there. Happy days. We don't actually catch up to Badanka there. However, Ariel behind me was catching me up in that Atenza, so well played. And I did make a slight error on that lap as well. That's it for race B. Brilliant race B. A huge shout out to Nick again. Nick, that was unbelievable driving. It really was. Yeah, just awesome. Awesome stuff. So if you see Nick R88, you know you can have a good race. Anyway, that's it for race B. As I say, let's jump to race C. Welcome then to America, and we're at Laguna Seca, and I got a bit of jip last time, or a bit of abuse, because I said it's in the middle of the desert. I'm only quoting that from Sans. I know it's not exactly in the desert, and I know where it is in terms of the global location. And that's why I called it Race Wars, and that's why I said it was in the desert. That's all it was, folks. That's all it was. Right, anyway. This week's race, we're in Group 3, so it's not Race Wars, we're not in Honda Civics. And we have a little bit of strategy in there as well. Let's jump to the race details. We're racing 14 laps here at Laguna Seca. It's at rolling starts. Once again, it's terrible. Racing medium and hard tyres both are required. Good strategy. Times 3 fuel, times 9 tyre wear. Good strategy. And as I say, we're in Group 3 and the bop is on, of course. It's always on. So I'm in the Porsche because the Porsche is a very dominant car at the moment and it is a handling circuit. So why not use the Porsche? It's a handling car. Let's jump to the race then. Let's talk about the strategy because there is some strategy here. Even though you have to use both tyres, there is strategy. Let's jump to it now. Here we are then at the start. So you can see a lot of Porsches in there. We've got a Z4. I did think about the Z4. I've got to be honest. So a huge shout out to TCR Veyburn. And you may have noticed somebody in P2. We found him. It's Lost Shelty. We've not lost Shelty. We've found Shelty. TCR Shelty is back. So shout out to you as well. Hello. I'm representing the Beetle. Of course he is. He never represents anything else. Right, so let's, we're advancing a bit further on. You saw how bad that rolling start was once again. And we got lucky there on the left-hand side. So I'm going to show you some judgment calls here. Now, I can see there's 2 car wide here. Someone's going to have to give up this place as we go into left-hander. It's definitely not a too wide corner. So Marasonic does that. And then, oh, we've got somebody spinning there. And we got the inside of Lucky. So 2 positions in one go. Happy days indeed. So in towards the braking zone we go. I made another judgment call there. Is that I assumed Lucky would go a bit deep into that corkscrew. I just had this feeling. So I stayed left and it turned out to be the case, which was perfect. So through the left we go. And then heading towards the right-hander then. And like status going out. Oh, actually, Mario's got a good run on the Corvette then. Odd job. Slap only 64. That's a name and a half. I will say that. That is for sure. So an Indian driver there. So shout out to you. It's nice to see other players from around the globe in this. Especially, obviously, India is a part of EMEA. So they should be in here. And it's just nice to see. Heading down here then. Go back looking around the outside. Not really the best place to do it. As we come through here, we are going to keep P12. As we advance a bit further on then. Through the right-hander we go. Oh no! It's Veyburn in the Z4. Veyburn's gone. Oh, we'll have a look at that after. We do have to replay, so we can have a look at what happened to Veyburn a little bit later on. So, once again, we're stuck behind Needham here. As we see somebody like, oh, somebody's off there as well. That's Veyburn. So, we're up into P10. It's a bit frustrating, people leaving, to be honest with you. But if they've had a terrible race, maybe they just don't want to stay in it anymore. I don't know. So, leaving here then, we've got a lot of cars up ahead now. We're getting into the thick of the racing action here. The absolute, look at this. We've got cars up ahead. We've got Needham going defensive then down towards turn 1. I'm going to try my luck round the outside. And unfortunately, because it's a double apex corner, going around the outside here is very difficult unless you keep it a little bit tighter than I did there. So, yeah, we remain in P10 for now. Through the right-hander we go. We are catching the group ahead as well, so it's going to get really interesting in terms of being able to overtake people, reacting to situations, taking full advantage of situations, really trying to assess what's going on here. So I'm looking left here just to get an idea of what's going on up ahead, not to go for the dive of the century. As we go through this left-hander then, it's all a bit status quo still, and Needham once again taking the very right decision there not to go for the move because he didn't have enough of a run there through the left-hander. Unfortunately, oh my god, it's 80. We saw them last week, off again, and Needham going for the move then down towards the corkscrew. Notice how I back off there, judgment there. I can't really go for the move. A double overtake there, it's not going to work out. Back off, fight another day. So looking at the inside of Renben then, as we go in towards this left, just understeering a little bit. We avoid hitting them, thankfully, as we continue this race. Then in towards the right-hander we go. Oh, a little bit of oversteer from the Swiss driver as we head towards the last corner. Once again on the inside then, as we look to stop the car. Oh, a little bit deep from myself, but we get it stopped. I would argue just about fine in terms of moves. However, they went for the late braking as well. Probably not. So it's an interesting one, but it's all fine. Nobody got hit. We're racing again. So up into P7. Needham going for the move on the GTR. Not sure that was quite on there. No. All good though. Diego looks like he saw it. In towards the braking zone we go. And once again, Needham going for the move there. Ooh, tight. I'm not sure whether they made the apex or not. That was a difficult one to judge. We're going to try and take full advantage of Diego though. And we're going for the move. So I'm looking then for the move on Needham as well at the same time. So I got for a double overtake in towards turn 1. Once again, round the outside turn 1. Not really going to work. Now GTR, full opportunistic driving here from the GTR driver. Brilliant move by Diego there. Brilliant move. Absolutely superb stuff. But unfortunately, the GTR goes a little bit deep here. And the Porsche, much better grip on those rear tyres. Boom. Out we go. And we are going to take that position. But Diego, huge shout out for that move. That was a brilliant opportunistic move. We're seeing some fantastic racing today. It is super. I love having good races. It's so good. It brightens my day up no end on a Monday, having such good races like this. Right, we're fast forwarding then, heading up to the corkscrew as we come into this braking zone. Then I see the GTR come from nowhere here, but they make the apex. It was another brilliant attempted move there by Diego. Honestly, that was superb. I thought, no way Diego's making that corner. No way. Not in a month for Sundays is Diego making that. Made it beautifully and gave me space as well. So shout out again to you. Absolutely brilliant driving. Right, we're in P5. Let's calm it down a little bit here. We're right behind Needham. Now, my idea here is I was going to do 8 laps because the hard tyres were fairly worn. They're over half on that front right. So Needham goes in the pits. And I'm thinking, okay, well, we're about to see the difference. This is where strategy comes in. Once again, look at those tyres. Front right down, rear right down. Doing 7 laps on the medium, it's going to be very difficult to do. It really is. So I went a lap later, as did Fraps, who's also in the distance. And you just belt it into the pit lane, as you know. You don't need to slow down there at all because we have teleportation in Gran Turismo. So it's around 50 seconds of pit stop. It is a long pit stop to that exit there. So do have to judge that accordingly. Now, as you can see there, I get the fastest lap. Happy days. We're going to go into a lap guide as well. Heading down towards this left-hander then. The 3 board, or that line down the right-hand side, that is your brake marker. You're braking just before this, in fact. Not at it, just before it. I'm braking even earlier because I'm in slipstream and dirty air. Obviously, dirty air is still significant in Group 3. As we come through this left-hander, we accelerate out of there. We head over towards the left-hand side. Now, when that gravel, the dark gravel, comes closer to you and gets more towards the edge of your screen, that's when you're going to brake here, drop to 2nd gear. Again, I'm braking early because of dirty air and also the fact I've got a little bit of slipstream in there as well. As we leave that corner, Zalar turns off there. Not sure why, Zalar. We could have had a good race there. Now, this fast right-hander, the end of the red and white bit is your brake marker and turn in, okay? So you might want to brake a bit earlier than that and turn in a bit earlier, but you want to really avoid that sausage on the right-hand side. It can send you flying, or as I saw on Storm, if you remember Storm, on their clip, apparently actually make somebody roll in their car. Right, this left-hander, you have that little marker on the barrier there. It's white in the middle of the black barrier. Use that as your marker. It's just after the 2 board, I believe. So on the left, through we go. And, nearly into the sand as we head up to this. Now, this corner, very difficult to do when you're behind somebody. So this is why I'm doing it on this lap in particular, the lap guide. You're braking after the 2, but before that white mark on the barrier. Now, you want to avoid the sausage at all costs here. It will send you flying. So it's very hard to do when someone's in front of you because you can't see it. When you can see it, it's easier. But you can notice that I take a bit of a wider line just to make sure I avoid that. Heading up towards the corkscrew. Once again, I said it already in the lap. Dirty air, slipstream. I'm braking earlier than normal. But the 3-line there, that is what you're using, okay? Now, if you try and brake even remotely late, you're increasing that braking distance substantially because you're going over the crest of a hill. Car will get light. The less tyres touching the tarmac, you're going to have problems. Through the left, you're just lifting off a little bit there. Maybe a dab of the brake if you're a bit unsure. Then this right-hander, you've got the 2-board or the start of the red and white curbing, whichever you prefer there. That is my brake marker for this corner, this right-hander. As we took it in here. Once again, I'm getting good grip through that corner. Head over towards the right-hand side here. Now, I'm braking early just because I'm so close to Needham here. Now, you've got the white bit on the barrier on the left-hand side, and it's just after the 3-board. You can use either of these, essentially, as your brake marker. You see where Needham just brakes after the 3-board there. So in towards the left, and out we go. Now, if you're a bit unsure with those markers, and you're like, whoa, TJ was focusing so much on the racing action, there is an ultimate Laguna track guide. I will link it at the end of the video. It's a brilliant lap guide. It tells you every single marker on the planet, on the circuit, and you can try and use that. It's honestly, it's hugely helpful. They're all the markers I use constantly at this circuit. Now, I did just try around the outside of Needham again, as if it's going to work for a third time. Obviously not, Tidge, you weapon. So we're going to go into this right-hander. We need to think of a place where we can overtake Needham. Remember, they're on 1 lap older tyres, which is significant because it's ×9 tyre wear. So technically, they're on 9 lap older tyres, which means I've got some fresh old tyres on my car. Getting towards this left-hander then, and they're defending briefly. You can see a little bit of a wiggle there in towards the left-hander. Oh, we're following them off. Once again, we're clipping that sand. Be very careful about doing that then. As we come into here, once again, I'm having to take it so cautiously because I'm behind somebody. You can see the time lost. You can risk it and proper go for it, but you're going to hit the sausage. You really are. In towards the corkscrew. Oh, a little bit of oversteer there. And, oh, a little bit deep then because of that oversteer in the braking zone. Looking down the left-hand side of Needham. Not going to quite work out then. Through the left we go over towards the left-hand side. In towards the right. And do we get a good run out of here? No, it's status quo for now. Another person left. Down to 10 cars in this lobby. In towards this braking zone then. Once again, clipping that curb, accelerating out as best as we can, making sure the cars bounce. Here we go then. We have a run on Needham. Now, this time, we're on the outside again. So this is attempt number, what's that, 4? Around the outside at turn 1. Hey, we keep trying it. Apparently, we don't know what the chaos theory is. Or, no, it is the chaos theory, isn't it? Or whatever it is, where you do the same thing over and over again and expect a different outcome. Anyway, we're side by side. This time we went for the cutback, which has worked briefly. So in towards this right-hander we go, but Mario on the inside then. Going to keep that position then. Beautiful defensive driving here as we then head towards this right-hander. Once again, I'm slowing up here. I'm trying to get the better run out the corner. Don't quite get as good of a run as I wanted. Had to lift a little bit there because I was going to understeer off. Looking down the inside in towards this left-hander then. The 9-lap fresher tyres really working a treat here as we accelerate through this corner. We're side by side heading up to this left-hander. Now, because I was sort of way alongside, I wasn't giving that up by any stretch of the imagination, and I would argue Needham made the perfect decision there. Hazards on to say thank you to back out of that because there would have been the car on the outside, and it's very hard to go on the outside of that corner. In the end, we came home on the podium. I think it's all 3 races we've had podiums. Happy days with that one. And Shelty there. Once again, a shout out to you, Shelty, coming home in P2. And Veyburn for actually finishing the race there, P9. We lost another runner there. We finished with only 9 runners. A bit unfortunate that, a bit unfortunate, but oh my word, beautiful driving there from Needham. It really was beautiful racing with you today as well. Like always, actually, to be honest with you, we never really have a bad race as far as I'm aware that I can think of. But as well, Diego, what an attempted move that was at the corkscrew. That was beautiful and beautiful driving. Let's have a look at a couple of the bloopers then before we finish this video. Right, the first blooper then. We're going to have a look at the Audi R8. What actually happened here then? It's coming into just this left-hander. Oh, they get it all sorts of wrong. Full drifto. I love the number plate there. Devil 666. As we head in towards then the right-hander. They just don't slow the car enough. They're just like only casually on the brakes there. So it's a bit frustrating to hit Inferno Fox. And then all sorts of carnage. And then heading in towards this right-hander. And obviously I'm on the inside. Am I fine here? Yeah, I would argue fine. A slight tap from the Ford there. Nothing major. And then obviously they turned in. So that's that one then. So heading, well, here we go then. I talked about the sausage here. They go for complete avoidance, but too much avoidance this time from the French Stig there of Lad 17. And a bit of a spinneroony. And off they go again then. So yeah, you can go for too much avoidance on the old sausage or not enough. Right, what happened to Veyburn then? It's going into this right-hander. Oh, speaking of sausage. Oh, Veyburn in the BMW Z4. Oh, that's an off there. Right, so what happens here then? Oh, they're getting going again. And Oh, beautiful sportsmanship that. Just waiting up, letting those cars go, and then going. That's all what TCR is all about, folks. Huge shout out to Veyburn for that one. Finally, we have Vlum here. In towards the right-hand, there we go. And, oh, a bit of a dive. Diving on that corner, very difficult to do, to be honest with you. Well, they lost out in the end anyway. So, an interesting one, a couple of bloopers there. That is it for this week's weekly race guide. I do hope you've enjoyed it, folks. Please do give it a like on the way out. It helps the channel out massively, and it costs you absolutely nothing. Please subscribe to the channel. 50% of you are not subscribed. And I do hope to see you in another video or live stream very soon.